Okay, good evening and welcome to a special Motzei Shabbos edition of Iyun Benzion. We're doing Maseches Nedarim Daf Samech number 60. That means there's about 90 daf and 91 daf in Nedarim. So basically, we're 2/3 the way through Maseches Nedarim. I want to talk today about a comment in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that if you say, I'm usher to drink wine for this month, Chodesh Zeh. So the Mishnah says, usher b'chol Chodesh, you're usher the entire month. Rosh Chodesh lahaba, and also your Rosh Chodesh is considered lahaba, meaning the next Rosh Chodesh is not included in your neder. So the perfect example, it happens to be funny that it's actually Rosh Chodesh tonight. It was Rosh Chodesh yesterday. Today, Shabbos. Shabbos was the first day of Rosh Chodesh, which was basically Lamed Kislev. Tonight is Aleph Teves. It is the first day of Teves. So if I were to take a neder tonight and answer my trusty Kedem grape juice for a whole month, right? Would I be mutter to drink Kedem grape juice on Rosh Chodesh Shvat, the upcoming Rosh Chodesh? The next month, Teves is a chaser, right? It's only 29 days as opposed to Kislev at 30 days. So the Gemara on Samach Beis, the Gemara says, Chodesh Asher b'chol Chodesh Rosh Chodesh Laba. The Gemara says Pshita. It's obvious. Obviously, the next Rosh Chodesh is not considered part, right? Rosh Chodesh Teves is not part of Kislev. Rosh Chodesh Shvat is not part of Shvat. Is not part of Teves. So the Gemara says, we need it for the case of a Chodesh Chaser. Ma'al the same Rosh Chodesh L'Sha'avar heavy. Reloaded, sir. We need it for a case of a Chodesh Chaser. Like, for example, this upcoming month, Teves, it's only 29 days. Right? You might think, Ma'al the same Rosh Chodesh L'Sha'avar heavy. I'm going to take out the word velo here, because the word velo, a lot of Mepharshim take out. Vilitzer, really the Garsh should be Vilitzer. You might think Rosh Chodesh L'Sha'avar means included in my neder. It's like part of Teves, and it should be Aser. Even Rosh Chodesh Shvat, the first day of Shvat, the Aleph Shvat, right? It should be like, Kamashman, Karo Inshe Reish Yarcha. People call it Rosh Chodesh Shvat, so it's not part of Teves, Rosh Chodesh Shvat. Now, what's the Havamina and what's the Maskaz? According to my explanation, I'm not going to tell you Arshkol's explanation. I'll tell you it in a second. According to my explanation, basically the Gemara is, what was the Havamina? The Havamina was that a Chodesh Chaser is different than a Chodesh Mole. I mean, a Chodesh Mole, which is 30 days, right? So the last day of the 30th month is actually Rosh Chodesh, right? It's Rosh Chodesh of the following month, right? Yesterday was Rosh Chodesh Teves, but it was actually Lamed Kislev. It's really Kislev. People call Rosh Chodesh Teves. That's not what our Gemara is talking. The Gemara is talking about this month, which is Teves, which is only 29 days. Because normally, the way it worked when they set up the calendar, we learned Maseches Rosh Hashanah, when they were Kovei Rosh Chodesh, the way they did a Chodesh Chaser was if they saw the new moon, right, on the 30th day. They saw the new moon on the 30th day, and they went to Beis Din, and they declared that month to be Rosh Chodesh. Beis Din was Mekadesh the Chodesh, and they made it Rosh Chodesh of that month, Rosh Chodesh Shvat. Now, that means basically that if the Edom came anytime before Shkia, right, part of that month, right, it was 29 days of whatever month it was. And if the Edom came during that 30th day, they turned that day, which really was part of the previous month, but they turned it into the new month. So before those Edom came, that was already part of the old month, right? Think about this upcoming month. It's 29 days. So we're not Makadosh the Chodesh anymore. Hillel was already Masakin, that we know the way the moon moves, so we know what's considered Maule and what's considered Chaser. They already were Masakin when Rosh Chodesh is. But if we're going back to the Beis Hamikdash, so on the 30th day of Chodesh Teves this month, they came and they said, we saw the new moon, Beis Hamikdash Chodesh in the middle of the day. That means part of that day really was part of Teves, even though it's Shvat. So that's the Chiddush of the Gemara, because you might think that even since it's a Chodesh Chaser, so the 30th day was changed, right? It was changed. It could have been part of the old month, and it was changed to the new month, right? So you might think that it should be included as part of the old month of Teves. Well, no, they call it Rosh Chodesh Shvat. They made it Shvat, even though there were a couple hours that weren't Shvat, right? They didn't, right? But nonetheless, it's called Shvat because that's the day the Rekovei is Rosh Chodesh Shvat, Aleph Shvat. Now that's my explanation. I think it makes a lot of sense. What bothers me is the article's explanation. I don't know where they got it from, but I'll read you what the article says. The article says, the Mishnah's ruling is necessary for a case where the following month is a deficient month of 29 days, and the current month is therefore a full month of 30 days. They switched it around, right? the Gemara says, "Ki Yisrael Chodesh Chaser." We need this teaching for a deficient month. So article interprets that Ki Yisrael Chodesh Chaser means last month of Chodesh Chaser. It's needed for a full month. Now, why don't you say that? The Gemara should have said Ki Yisrael Chodesh Male, not Chodesh Chaser, right? If that's what we're talking about Chodesh Chaser. That's a Kiddush Chodesh Male. You should have said Chodesh Male. Yisrael Chodesh Male. Right? And it would have made sense according to article. If that really was what the Gemara wanted to say, I could have heard that, right? And the Gemara says, you might have thought, right? We're talking about the 30th day now, right? Let's talk about Kislev. Kislev had 30 days. So if I made a neder during Kislev, the Aser wine for Kislev, so you might have thought it's a full month, 30 month. So therefore, the 30th day, right, which really is Lamed Kislev, should be included. Should be included in my neder because even though it's called Rosh Chodesh Teves, but it's really, the real day is Lamed Kislev. It's really 30th of Kislev. So therefore, you might thought that it should be included in my neder of this month. Kamash Malan, no, people call it Reish Yarchai. Even the first day of Rosh Chodesh, right? Yesterday, they call it Rosh Chodesh Teves. Even though it really is Lamed Kislev, they call it Rosh Chodesh, which makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, I would have the Havamina, that what? I would have thought that it's called, it really is Lamed Kislev. So it should be part of my I asked for the month of Kislev from drinking wine. It should be part of Kislev. Kamash Malan, it's not because it's called Rosh Chodesh. Colloquially, people refer to it as Rosh Chodesh. It makes a lot of sense. The Svara maybe even makes more sense than what I was saying. But the problem is that the Gemara says, Kitzrach L'Chodesh Chaser. The Gemara doesn't say Kitzrach L'Chodesh Mali. It should have said L'Chodesh Mali. And therefore, I think the correct halacha should be, is that, not like the article is saying, that it should be that at the end of the day, if I would have asked for wine during the month of Kislev, the last day of Kislev, which on Shabbos, I would have been forbidden to drink wine because it's still, at the end of the day, Lamed Kislev, because that's not what the Gemara said. According to article, that's what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is saying Lamed Kislev is called Rosh Chodesh Teves, so therefore it's not included. I'm saying no, it is included. It is included because at the end of the day, you took a neder for this Chodesh Zeh. Fine, people might call it Rosh Chodesh, but really, if you ask people, official people who are taking the calendar, what today is, they'll tell you it's Lamed Kislev. They're not going to say it. They'll say Rosh Chodesh Teves. People are talking about, one of them saying Hallel. Do you say Hallel? And do you say Musaf and things like that? But people, when they ask what today's Hebrew date is, they'll say Lamed Kislev. They're not going to say Rosh Chodesh Teves. Because if you say Rosh Chodesh Teves, we're not sure. Is it the first day or the second day? They're going to say today is Lamed Kislev. And they'll say today, starting tonight is already Aleph Teves. You have to be exact. You have to be precise. So that should be the halacha. The halacha should be, if you ask her for this month, Lamed Kislev should be included in your neder. I think that's the correct halacha. According to our school, the way they learn in the Gemara, it shouldn't be included because people, that's why they talk. But precisely, it really is part of Kislev. So that's my explanation of the Gemara, which fits very well into the words of the Gemara. Very hard to understand the Gemara according to our school. Hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next.